You have political people on your podcast?
Definitely. Not people that we've had, yeah.
So, but what flipped? Because it's a decision you made. What caused you to make that decision?
I think we've always like had those views and stuff, but honestly, just the opportunity.
Okay.
Pretty much.
What was there ever a conversation about the risk of doing so? Was there ever like,
Yeah, I think the first time we
with
linked with Trump, it was definitely like a little bit of backlash.
when they took it down 24 hours later, all of that? Or?
Yeah. Well, the first time we met him was we went on Air Force One with Dana. So that was the time, right before the election. That was the time. So we got a bit of backlash, but we just didn't really care. Like, we just kind of feel the way we feel.
Bingo.
And, yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's the part. So the people who have the voice, who were worried about saying anything or taking positions, no longer give a shit, and now they're being vocal. That's a problem for the other side. Because now we're finding each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who are like us, you know what our way is? The DNA of people who are waking up and finding each other, we're typically a community of people that lift each other up. How you doing? You guys got this going? Awesome. How can I support? Let's collaborate. Let's do this. Let's do that. We're doers. We'll go make the money. We're doing our part. But, for the longest time, the saying is what? Never talk politics, never talk religion, never talk this. And that's been fed over and over and over again. You never do that with your YouTube channel or podcast. Trust me, you're going to lose half the audience. But no, I think the reason why I have a lot of hope for the future of America is because the right people are finding each other, and they're united, and they're setting aside ambitions, and they're saying, "Nah, man, listen, you're for freedom, I'm for freedom. Let's roll. Let's go. Good, let's roll." That's what's happening. Freedom fighters finding each other. Freedom fighters for the longest time, if there's not a reason to fight for freedom, guess what we do? We go have our babies. We go have our own ambitions. We go buy our farm. We go buy or whatever it was. For years, even we go do our thing. But if, God forbid, you screw around with that, then all of a sudden, you ever seen the movie Troy where, he's hooking up with a girl in a tent, and they come out and say, "Hey, Achilles, such and such happened." He looks at the girl and gets up and goes, does the fight, kills him. Thousands of Achilles have been woken up the last 6-7 years. And these are guys that are doing their thing, and you don't even know who they are. They're just kind of minding their own business. So my confidence comes from the fact that you don't wake up true believers, and they have. There are bullies that seem like they're the toughest people out there in the marketplace that intimidate people, but they're not. The toughest people are the people that are not afraid of facing bullies.
Right.
And the people that are not afraid of facing bullies are now waking up, coming together and saying, "You're not going to do this to America. You're just not going to do it." And by the way, 2024, I called 2023 in November of last year the year of investigations. I said, everyone's getting investigated. It's just going to be a shitty year in investigations. 2024, I'm calling the year of chaos. It's going to be the most chaotic year of our lifetime. Super chaotic. Are you seeing what's going on in DSC yesterday? The cops and all that stuff. And,
oh my God, was that with the senator?
It was.
There was almost a fight in the Senate here.
Yeah, of course.
Hell? I couldn't even believe that was real.
The protesting, the riots outside about Palestine. Did you guys see that? What happened yesterday? At the DNC headquarters. Okay. So Israel, Palestine, Hamas. Biden can't lower the temperature with that.
Yeah. Is that not crazy to you that that's happening in this country, like harder than it is anywhere else?
I think it's happening everywhere. It's happening. But I mean, in Europe.
You see it. Maybe it's just because of what I see on like my phone and on socials. But
no, those are going on everywhere around the world.
No, I get that, but they're pretty powerful here, which is a little bizarre.
So maybe what you're saying is, they are going everywhere, but in America, it's never been this bad. And it's okay. So why though? Why? Were you raised with a strong father, or was he pretty chill?
Pretty strong.
Pretty strong. How was your pops?
In the middle.
In the middle?
Yeah.
Could you get away with shit, or
no?
Would he
if
put
I
his
did
foot
something
down?
fucked, that's when he would be.
So
he'd fucking kill me.
But what happened when our father was away? What did we feel like we could do?
Anything.
So my parents got a divorce twice, right? When they got a divorce when I was 10 years old, and that's the last time they were together, my mom one day, we're in the living room, she hits me because I came late or something, and her hand hurts. 14 or something, "Mom, what are you doing?" But in that moment, my mom could no longer tell me what to do. I'd come home at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. What are you going to tell me? You can't tell me anything. Because it wasn't somebody I feared, right? Just like a boy needs love, fear, and respect. They need somebody to love, somebody to fear, somebody to respect. Typically, Love comes mom, fear and respect comes with that. And if you can love, you feel love from that, even better, right? But we need somebody to fear and respect, okay? As much as we need somebody to fear and respect, in order for a company, a country, a city, mayor, governor, state, president, country, that leader needs to impose fear and respect into everybody.
Yeah.
Which of those two does Biden impose? Fear or respect?
Neither.
Exactly. So guess what happens when you can't impose fear and respect? Bullies wake up, tyrants wake up, and they're able to take advantage of you. Nobody fears or respects America today. Nobody even likes us today.
Yeah.
By the way, likability is the last one. If you can't get a president like a Reagan was a trifecta, Reagan was all three. They liked him, they feared him, and they respected him. You wanted to have dinner with him, but you don't want to cross him, but you respected him as a man as well. This guy's somebody, right? We don't have any of those three today, okay? And some would say with Trump, well, you didn't have likability with Trump, but you had fear and respect. Say what you want. You better fear and respect the guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, you want to do something? Hassan Soleimani? Boom. The guy that was a leader of 6 proxy militaries. He called himself the most powerful general in the Middle East. He kills him. And then it's like, do something. And Iran retaliates and bombs a building in a military base that they knew was empty just to say, we retaliated. No, he didn't. Why not? Because you know the guy is crazy enough to do something to you if you even touch him. We need to hurry up with this next election and get somebody that's feared and respected, or else shit show is going to get even worse. And I think 2024 is going to be really the year where America needs to go back to being feared and respected. That's why it's a very important election. But it's going to be chaotic.
Scary time around the world. I mean, you got the Ukraine-Russia war, and now with the tension now in the Israel-Palestine thing, it's just taken. It seems like there's different sides forming and different regions of war going on now, right?
Yeah.
Like there's multiple.
I think this is the first time
battlefields.
that I've noticed that people are actually starting to change their political opinion. Like, I've noticed a lot more people are starting to go more right just because this shit's getting so out of hand. That I've never seen anything like that, like, as I've grown up.
I think even the companies are learning where the money's at too. I mean, you saw the whole Bud Light thing too, right? I think the companies are now seeing like, oh, you know what? We can't go this left or we're going to start losing money. I think the Bud Light thing was the first example of that. And now even YouTube, we used to deal with more censorship on YouTube 3 years ago than we do now. I mean, you couldn't even make a trans joke 3 years ago. You would get...
No, you're right.
I knew, because I know we've been doing the shit.
Yeah.
You could not do anything trans related, nothing. You can't even touch it, talk about it. Now, like, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I even know YouTube is actually becoming more lenient because they're seeing what happened with X and stuff, and they're saying, you know what, we can't go this far left, or we're going to lose money.
So you said something very important, though. Why did that happen, though? YouTube came up with a email to users saying, hey, we typically would have taken down questions about the election integrity, but moving forward, we're leaving those videos up.
That's
what?
That's why we got our first Trump interview deleted.
Because
it was only because of election fraud.
So,
and now they reversed that. You're allowed to question the election now.
So think about that. So you may have been one of the reasons why they did that, because that interview goes up like, why are you taking it down? You know, why are you taking it down? 6 million views and whatever hours you guys got and all this stuff. It's like, why are you taking that part down? But, you know, this is what prevails, though. Common sense eventually prevails, and bad ideas get exposed. 100%. The other day, this guy named Professor Scott Galloway, I don't know if you know who he is or not. He's like a god in NYU, professor, liberal side. He had a CNN Plus, gave him $1 million to do a show. Obviously, CNN Plus went out of business. But he's on Bill Maher. And he's there with Andrew Cuomo. And Scott is saying, well, look, yes, we made a mistake with the vaccine and the shutdowns. But this is the time for people to show grace. And we need grace. And grace. He kept using the word grace. I'm sorry. Where was your grace when people disagreed with you? Where was your grace when Elon Musk was buying 9.6% of Twitter and he says he's lying? He's full of shit. He's got all of you guys fooled. He doesn't want to buy it. He's just playing games with all of you guys. Elon makes an offer to buy the entire company. Watch him bail out. He's not going to buy it. Watch, he's going to use this as an excuse to not buy it. He doesn't have the balls to buy it. What does Elon do? He buys it. After he buys it, what does Galloway do? Keep trashing him over and over and over and over again. Where was your grace, guy? So there's an element where their ideas got exposed to say stay home. The same guys that were for shutting down and having everybody stay home with their kids is the same attorney, surgeon general that comes out and says, there's this thing called a loneliness epidemic. You're the reason why there's a loneliness epidemic. You're the reason why kids were staying home. You're the reason why people couldn't go see people in states like California and New York. You're the reason why this happened. And now they're getting exposed. So then what happens after somebody's getting exposed? It's accountability. The accountability part has to happen. If the accountability part doesn't happen, you know, in China, the first thing they had to figure out for capitalism to work, what can capitalism not work without? What do you need for capitalism to work? You need what? Think about it. People say, well, you need money. Well, you need this. Forget about the money and the ideas and the entrepreneur and all that stuff. What do you need for capitalism for you to feel protected that if you go build a business, somebody can't bully you and take shit away from you? What do you need? You need laws. So 40 years ago, China had some 4 law schools. Nobody followed the laws. A corrupt country cannot have capitalism because somebody can come in and say, give me your business, moving forward, this is mine, get out of here. Give me 20% every month because there's no laws, right? Okay. The reason why our system has worked is because we have laws. However, if nobody's held accountable for all the shit they did during COVID, people are not going to trust the system. So there needs to be an element of accountability taking place while we're going through this next phase. But it's going to be interesting. I think Elon did a very good thing buying Twitter, X. If he wouldn't have done that, this would have been a very different climate. All the people that are very confident posting stuff on Twitter, you wouldn't be able to do that a year and a half ago. There's no way. Now they can't. So Elon was the first tipping point. I think what Chris is doing with Rumble is very important. They're playing a very important role because there's competition. And at the same time, the country and the world is starting to realize you guys had some shitty ideas. And now even people from the left are starting to say, maybe there was voter fraud. Maybe you guys did some stuff like this. Maybe you did. They're questioning it. Questioning it? 2 years ago, God forbid you questioned it. No. So hypocrisy is being exposed. There needs to come with some level of accountability. Fauci's been very quiet after being considered the sexiest man alive by Guardian. You know, he needs to be held accountable for what he did to make sure the next time we're going to have another epidemic and pandemic, guys. It's going to happen in our lifetime. It'll happen. Whether your age starts with a 5 or a 6 or a 7, when it happens, it's going to happen. We do not want the same behavior to happen, so there needs to be accountability for that to improve. But yeah, social is very different. The fact that we can talk right now and this can get distributed to millions of people and hear these ideas and then they go home and talk to their mom and dad and cousins and friends about
crazy,
it.
Right?
That's what's awesome about it. Because if we didn't have this, we'd be getting bullied by mainstream media on a daily basis.